What is going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36. And this is Big Games BS, part of DIM Media Group, presented by the MFTK Foundation. MFTK Foundation will be doing the second annual. Oh Lord, comes the year where you can't tweet anything. Because everything I tweet will be about Florida State or taking that. For everybody to realize, I just want to put this out here. I'm going to make this announcement. We do talk about Florida State. We do talk about Florida State. We will talk about Florida State. My name is Big Game James _36. I do not work for 247. I do not work for Florida State. I do not work for On 3. I do not work for Rivals. The views expressed are what do we used to say on our show? The views express the thoughts of James Coleman and only James Coleman, and do not necessarily reflect the thoughts, values, and the current culture of what is going on in or around Florida State University. Like, if you ask me my opinion, I will give opinions. Sometimes those opinions are righteous. Sometimes they are not righteous. We will discuss a lot of current. We discuss a lot of current events on this show. One of the most current events is that of Miguel Blanco, and as it relates to Florida State University. Now, when I wake up in the morning and I tweet, it's not going to happen today. Like I just put out there, like I can see how people will get to the point of I must be talking about Florida State. But I am a beat writer for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I could be talking about an injury report. I could be talking about my son's Pop Warner team, which we were talking about here. Dang, I forgot that. Miles, can you if you go into my room, right on the where the TV is, there's a ring. I want to show some stuff, some things, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today that we ain't even got into the prayer yet. You're right. We got it's a lot of just calm down. Don't jump on me. I haven't even sipped my coffee
yet. You already know what time it is, John.
That's fine. We're good.
Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you, God. God is great.
All the time.
All the time. Nobody wanna thank you, God. Thank you, God.
I think really when we boil it down, we just need more God. That's what it comes down to, guys. Like, isn't that like what what they always say? Like, we just have more prayer, we would be in a better position. And I think that the team just needs you guys' prayers and stuff like that. That's what we need. So there's a lot of stuff that we could talk about, a lot of stuff we can get into. But for those who are watching this on the Twitterverse, please consider coming over here to YouTube, become a subscriber, become a member. If that's something that does for you, subscriber. Once we get to 7,000 subs, we will give away money on the show. As well as that, we will still be getting there's 2 more games left. We will still be giving away tickets to those who want to go check out a game. We still will be giving those away the Wednesday before every home game. And we will also start giving away Jaguar tickets as well. And we'll do those on the Friday show, the Friday of every home game before Jacksonville Jaguars. So, Jaden, what are we talking about today? Give the people an overview, and then we will get into exactly who is who and what is what in terms of the sports world.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Big Games BS here on Monday, October 20th at 9:12 a.m. This is your first time at the show. Welcome. And it's called Big Games BS because we bring the good, the bad, and the BS of the sports world, especially football, to your screens, eyes, and ears. Let's kick this off with our MFTK segment where we're going to be showing love to the youngins. We got some promo and we got a ring, or it looks like a championship to discuss. And then we have our NCAA talk starting with FSU. It looks like they're not going to be winning a ring this year with their performance we saw in Cali. So we're going to talk about the game, the nitty gritty game that happened on the West Coast, that low scoring game, before getting into the new AP poll for the week and discuss some major movements in college, especially in the state of Florida and beyond. After that, we're going to go to our NFL segment. We're going to recap this week of games, and then we're also going to, start with the first game that occurred on Sunday, and that would be the Jaguars game that happened in England versus the Rams. Gonna get into that game, even though from the box score, it looks like there's not really much to cover about that game, but there's always something. We're gonna get into the rest of the slate of games that occurred this past week, including the Eagles wide receivers getting happy, and we got to talk about Tua Tagovailoa and some injuries, as well as recapping some of those noteworthy moments. Before getting into the big games BS section of the day, this section brings the scope of the conversation outside the typical football world. If you're a fan of the show, true fan, we start off with our food segment in this topic, our BS or bussin' food rating segment. And then we're just going to show some love to FAMU Homecoming's football squad. So we're going to come back to that, starting at the MFTK segment for today. So before we get into some championship talk, let's get into the program that's looking to build some champions, James.
Um, yeah, MFTK Spartans is our second year doing our 7-on-7. Hopefully this year will be bigger, getting a lot of buzz. 3 Sundays from now, we will be at University Christian High School from 4 to 6 p.m. Getting active. The funniest part about this picture, I think directly to the immediately to the left and to the right of that picture, the only 2 white kids on that team last year were on there. It just sucks because they couldn't fit on the thing the way they took the picture. So portrait framing isn't always the best when it comes to trying to make flyers and things of that nature. But Denny's son was on there. But we're having it. We should be getting a lot of good momentum. Should be a lot of the best kids in the city. Followed up by December 20th, we will start releasing the flyer for that. Invitations went out. If we get the turnout we're supposed to get for that MFTK showcase, it will be a who's who recruiting event. Again, I want everybody to realize when the frustrations come with recruiting, I have inserted myself into this thing because I have 2 pups that are coming up through the ranks that are learning a championship mentality, that are learning that the standard is not just to be spoken about. We can rock with everybody, but everybody has to live up to the standard when you come around here, and we show you how to be a pro and how to make this guap. Again, that's what the cause is. Cause I need a watch. Cause I need a shirt. Need some shoes. Cause I need this money, this paper. But we're gonna show these young men how to have an elite mindset and an elite mentality. So if you would like to sponsor that, you can go to mentors. The website is back up, mftkfoundation.com. You could sponsor a kid for $25 to be able to do the showcase. They're gonna get battle gear, kind of like what's similar to what they have on right there. And it costs about $200. Well, it costs more than that, but the registration for these kids is $250. Once they make the team, that is for the entire off season. And that's about 8 tournaments that they'll be going into. They'll get full 3 sets of full uniforms, backpacks, warm-ups, polos, a whole bunch of other jazz. All of that money will go directly to the youths, and we hope to have at least one team. If we need at that age group, if we need to have two, we will have two, because just as much as it's about winning, it's about development, which a lot of these just need development and guidance.
So it looks like you got another ring to the collection right here. This photo you posted on October 18th. So James, explain to the fans what this photo represents. I see you and your kid right there. I don't know what you eating in that container though, but we're gonna get back to that. We're gonna get back to the
It's Duval. Like,
okay.
we did it the right way. We were in the hood. We had a crab pot. That's the sides though. 'Cause I don't mess with like the whole crab thing. Like, it's too much work. I don't want to do all that. But I love sides. So like, man, when I tell you it was some celery, potatoes, sausage, and some corn, man, that mess was fire. But the parents made that for us. And I didn't realize how delicious Fanta pineapple is on a nice warm day. But it definitely quenches your thirst. But those are the rings that they gave us for winning the Pop Warner City Championships. We'll play 2 dummy games. Our first playoff game is November 15th. We win November 15th. We win November 22nd. We're in Charlotte for the Pop Warner National Championships. But one thing that we talk about on this show is we talk about culture. We talk about what a lot of people talk about, subliminals. You know, people are like, oh, man, they're coming after our kids. They're subliminally coming after our kids. I'm starting to agree with y'all now. I don't know what Pop Warner got going on, but we will have these rings. We cannot wear these rings anymore because we have no problem. I'm an ally. We have Fruitopias in our families that are close, but that doesn't mean we necessarily support or we endorse those lifestyles for our own day to day. So if you can put me back up big, I want to see if we can make sure the people can see this. It's all about messaging. And I don't know, it's not gonna be able to be seen, huh? Oh. And then focusing on it. All right, Miles is about to do his thing right here. All right, there we go. Can y'all see that? Can you see the sponsors? It's not so much that WW Gay, a great business. WW Gay is a great business, does a lot for the community. Dick's Sporting Goods, a great business, does a lot for the community. But you should not because the WW you don't see very well. And it's on the top. And Dick's is on the bottom. I don't want to be walking around with a ring that says Gay Dick's. I'm sorry. If that makes me a bad person, then I'm just a bad person. Not for to go around winning with a bunch of gay dicks hanging around, man. This isn't Magic Johnson. This is in the 80s. But, that's just the only thing. That was some funny toilet or locker room humor we did see. But them boys went out there. We played if you looked at the game, it looked like it was it looked like the game before right when segregation first happened. Desegregation first happened. We played a bunch of white boys from Apex down in St. Johns County. They got a good old Duval butt whooping. It started off, they jumped on us like they did last time. It was 12-0. Then you know what we did? Then we commenced the ass kicking. And we won, I believe the official score, because we mercy ruled them. But the official score was 38-12. It should have only been 32-12, but they decided they wanted to keep throwing the ball when the game was over, and they threw a pick six to the fastest kid in the city, Ty Williams, and who hopefully will be going to Mandarin University. But we whooped ass. That's what we do. Oh, did I tell you our 10U got in a fight? We're in Grand Park, so I had to tell my son if it's a Ville in Jacksonville, like that's the name of that area. That's the hood. Picketville, Picketville, Durkeeville, like, even like Springfield ain't really is old. It ain't really the nicest area. They're trying to renovate it, but like even gentrification is slowing down the process in the Bangle. But Grand Park is in Durkeeville, and I think what happens is it's University Community Athletic Association that happens to come out of University Christian. So I want to emphasize community. Ain't a lot of Christians on those rosters, baby. These the kids that look for an opportunity to prove to you that they're hood. Because everybody picks them. You ain't playing at the park. Because this is what Jacksonville do. You ain't playing at range. You playing for the man. You ain't one of us. And so you know what happens to black people when you do that to them all the time? They look for opportunities to show you that they can get ignorant too. Man, them 10U kids was whooping them hood boogers' asses. And them boys started cheap shotting our kids, and them kids and they had one of our guys. They 10 years old. He going to blows on my kid's helmet. Man, one of them kids comes over there and runs and balls himself up, and damn near spears the kid. and then all of their kids come off the sideline, and our kid. It was the scary part and the most heartwarming part was the fact that they didn't even hesitate. Our kids didn't hesitate at all. They were and they were smart. They put their hats on and they ran out to that field and they was ready. I was and then they started playing Christian music. You ever see somebody get stomped out to stomp? It's actually very hilarious. But that was our weekend. Outside of that, that's the only game that we won. Mandarin was on a bye week, and I was at Miami on Friday. Lost. my baby boys team lost, but that's okay. They battled back and forth. They had some big ass kids, but it is what it is. And then Florida State obviously made us all stay up to see what it is, see that product that they put out on the field, and we will discuss that here shortly. But that is my MFTK moments with my sons and whatnot.
I've been dreading this moment since early Sunday morning, since the game did transition over from Saturday to Sunday, since it was so late. Man, I was fighting to stay awake, man. By the third quarter, dozed off, came back at the fourth quarter. But yes, if you guys have not figured out by now, FSU did lose to ACC opponent Stanford in California. This game occurred at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time zone. For all of my East Coast watchers out there, we stayed up late to watch us lose by 7 points to Stanford. Before we get into the details surrounding the coach, let's actually break down the game and see some key moments in this game. First off, starting with that BS, aka that box score.
I always got to check out the box.
So let's start off with Tommy C. So Tommy Castellanos went 14 to 28. He had 242 yards, but he did not have a touchdown. But luckily, he didn't have an interception as well. So Thomas Castellanos did end up getting removed from the game because a Stanford safety ended up targeting Castellanos as he was trying to slide on the ground, which resulted in Kevin Sperry getting some bump in the game. He got 4 completions, 7 yards, and 64 completions, for 7 attempts in 69 yards. So Gavin Sawchuk led FSU rushing with 70 yards. He had 20 carries, averaging 3.5 yards a carry. TC, 14 carries, 33 yards, and Usman Kroma, 4 carries for 17 yards. So on the receiving end, Makai led the squad with 3 receptions for 106 yards. He had a big chunk on the last drive for the Seminoles. Deuce Robinson, 4 receptions, 98 yards. And Wayne McCoy also had 4 receptions with 46 yards. Omar Graham was the leading tackler for the Seminoles. And James, number 20, Blake Nicholson, came in a strong second place. So let's get into the team. Let's get into, the box score for Stanford's squad. So Ben Gabrielson was 6 of 13 for 90 yards through a touchdown and an interception, but ended up getting taken out the game, and their second string QB ended up taking over, going 50% for 71 yards. Cole Tab averaged 4.2 yards a carry with his 28 carries for 118 yards and a touchdown. He was definitely running hard.
He was also the backup running back, if I remember correctly.
He is the backup running back. And yes, we did not beat Stanford with their backup quarterback in as well. So on the receiving end, Sam Roush led the Cardinals with 63 yards of receiving with 6 catches as well. So let's get into those team stats. Break it down. FSU had 3 more first downs than the Cardinals. FSU went 8 of 18 on third down, while Stanford were 6 for 16. But Stanford never went for it on fourth down, while FSU went 1 of 3. So you see the total yards. FSU had 444 total yards of offense compared to Stanford's 293. Yikes. In passing, you see the difference right there. FSU had 311 compared to 161. We averaged 8.9 yards per pass, while Stanford averaged 6.4. Might I add, Tommy Castellanos is one of the college football leaders in average yards per pass as well. So in the rushing tip, FSU only had 1 more rushing yard compared to Stanford, and you can see the similar numbers right there. But man, penalties killed us. 13 penalties, losing 79 yards. And we also didn't even have a turnover. Earl Little had the sole turnover in this game with his interception early on in the game against Stanford. And yes, James, Stanford led with top. So they had 5 more minutes of top.
Without very much. Like, that's good. Like, I mean, like you they didn't have anywhere near as much girth or yards that we had, and they still got 5 more minutes of top. That's about right where you want to be at. It makes absolutely no sense. But this is going to be. I don't think I'm going to do a bunch of yelling. I don't have the energy to do a bunch of yelling, but I'm going to tell a bunch of truths. And we can go through the rundown. Like, this was the worst type of game to play at 10:30 p.m. Like, just look at these first quarter.
FSU went 3 and out on their first drive. Stanford then responded with the field goal. FSU then marched down the field to Stanford's 38, and Weinberg missed a 57-yard field goal. That's a very long field goal, might I add. So we're going to keep moving forward, and this is the Earl Little interception on Stanford. So we went into the second quarter, pretty riled up, hoping the defense got some confidence back with the Earl Little interception. So we marched down the field, 12 plays, 54 yards later, and we ultimately ended up kicking a field goal, a 39-yard field goal for the Seminoles. So the score is now 3-3, and this is when it all kind of went downhill from here, because this is when the Stanford Cardinals settled for a field goal attempt from the FSU 12, and Edwin Joseph had his offside penalty, which resulted in them actually scoring off of this play. And for any of my diehard FSU fans out there, you've probably seen the clip that's been circulating online of Norvell chewing out Edwin Joseph.
Do we have that video?
The bench. I can actually find it for you right now, James, while we keep talking about these plays. But yes, many fans were saying that this was a game that fans could really visualize and see that he lost the respect of these players, because man, it just looked like he just shooed off Mike Norvell, excuse me. But this was just the start to this game. So I actually got that video for you guys so you can see what we're talking about that happened in real time. I'm gonna blow this up for you guys.
Compliments to Mr. Savage.
So yes, that was Mike Norvell chewing out Edwin Joseph.
Okay, so what? So again, so I had people there. It was from what I was told. Let me go find. So I'm gonna read my two reports because that was okay to me. What I mean by that is, okay, so here's what I read, right? Norvell and a player had to be separated just now. That looked like just Norvell was the aggressor, correct? Shout out to Connor McNally. I will be on their show, talk about the Jags on Wednesday. Can't wait. Strings, right? If y'all want to come check it out live, downtown. Okay, so that was one thing. Let me see what Miss Edith told me. Miss Edith tried to get me some video on it. I didn't get it, but they had to hold Norvell back, and I caught when he came back. The other guy is trying to calm number 3 down, which is Joseph. So, first and foremost, that touchdown was all Joseph's fault. I don't know much about D. That's why I have Cromartie come on here, and I may still have my dog come on here. We may start doing so you can get the perspective of the OGs. Might just call them and let them know. But like, I've never seen a defense go from sugar to shit in the manner in which Florida State's defense has gone. And what I'm upset about is everybody's just like okay with this. But one of the things that I have said since the 3-6 season, and again, you can go back. I'm not even gonna hold it to you. As for me and my house, we are unapologetic Adam Fuller apologists. We went 3-6 and the offense was going 3 and out. And the defense was giving up a bunch of points. The defense needs to stop somebody. I'm like, well, the offense needs to score some points. I educated you guys on this thing called complementary football. That's why you got to listen to people who have actually played this game and actually understand this game. You'll start learning points that you can actually take 2 bars and regurgitate and not sound like a fucking idiot. Like, remember, one of the funniest things was you can't run into a loaded box. You can't load into it. Run. I said, bitch, I got 10 examples of where you can run into a loaded box. It's called goal line formation. And then I told you about the numbers game, motherfucker ball. I try to explain things to you in a manner in which you can actually sound like you have common sense and you don't sound like an idiot when you get around people who actually know ball. I told you, you said the defense thinks we need to get rid of Adam Fuller because he was not the popular choice. He was not the guy that everybody wrote extensive articles about. He was not Dan Lanning, who was an up-and-coming guy. He was not Schumann, who was an up-and-coming guy. He was not the guy that you wanted at defensive coordinator. So when it was time to make cuts, you always went for the low-hanging fruit instead of looking at what the hell was actually produced. You attacked Adam through and through without realizing, do you know how fucking hard it is to make an adjustment when you just got off the field and the offense hasn't been on the field for a minute of game time? It's difficult to do that. It's even more difficult to do that when the guys don't believe in your system. It's even more difficult to do that when you don't fully have the guys to play your system, and there is no excuse because the money, the resources, the time was put into making it happen, and we've seen it happen. We saw it happen in full effect against Alabama. Now, what I will say, though, there was a great sermon that was made by a great friend of mine by the name of Brian McFadden. And he said on that sermon, praise is the perfume of success. But do not drink the perfume because it's poison. These boys drink that perfume like it's a Grande Nitro cold brew at the Starbucks on Bay Meadows in 95, and James Coleman is coming in that motherfucker to get it. Montre puts third and Fuller was the only problem. Guess what's happened? We've had third and Kelly. We've had third and Fuller. We had third and the dude who's the head coach of Bethune-Cookman. I can't think of his name right now. We've had fourth in White. We can't stop anything. And it comes from a lack of presence. We wanted to say maybe Odell's messaging had gotten too old. And I can see that. I can see that. But we brought in Terrence Knight. He's a pro. He's a former pro. Good coach. Had a top 15, part of a top 15 defense at top 15 defense at Nebraska. Tony White came in with a bunch of stuff, a bunch of accolades. Tony White came to a situation where even if our passing game was putrid, I expect our running defense to be better, because one of the talking points was he didn't give up a rushing touchdown at home. These boys are softer than fresh baked cookies, softer than baby shit, softer than a rat pissing on cotton. They are pushed around, bullied by guys who are going to be the future engineers of America. You're being pushed around by guys that are going to be replaced by AI in 20 years. The mentality, the ferocity, the energy is not there at all. Defense sets the tone. They look like they're and then the last interview would really say, I want to unleash more, but they're thinking too much. Then we need to get a bunch of book smart kids, because the smart kids are around here doing to us what we should be doing to them. With an interim coach, like, that's why I'm going back to this. Now, I can't tell you that what happened with Edwin Joseph and Mike Norvell never happened with Bobby Bowden. I would be lying to you. We lost to Virginia. Damn, 20 years ago, they talked about that shit. On a Thursday night, Fred Rouse did not feel like he was getting the ball enough or getting incorporated enough. Decided that he didn't want to go back in. Bobby went over to talk to him. He cussed Bobby out, and ESPN caught that shit. So let me give you guys, because a lot of y'all think that Bobby was just like the picture of Jesus that y'all love, with a sheep over him and just very meek and mild. Fred thought he won that battle. As soon as we got back, Bobby had Fred's release papers signed. What you're not going to do is you're not going to talk to me like that. And I'm going to dictate to where you can and can't go. I'm going to show you what the world is really like. See, a lot of people, and I'm going to put my white people into, I'm going to pull you back, Kirk, because I know y'all talk like this too. But a lot of people like, that cracker this, that cracker that, ain't going to do that, but that. Now, Bobby said, I'm going to show you that. I can show you what the cracker going to do. You believe this? I've been good to you. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you what the real world is like. And in that, he had Kevin Steele and Mickey Andrews. Kevin Steele was a cool motherfucker. One of them cool motherfuckers that you know meant business. Mickey Andrews is a fireball still to this day. You can pull whatever. Now, that was an offensive cat, but I'm gonna tell you this: I seen a dude try to fight Mickey at the Sugar Bowl my freshman year. What was his name? We always had everybody had nicknames. Shit, it'll come to me. That motherfucker didn't go to the locker room. He was done. Nah, I'm not, no. Like, he didn't get, like, wasn't even on could not take the bus back to the team hotel with us. You could get your rocks off. You could do whatever you want to do, but just realize you better get it in for real. Because California, long way from Tallahassee, Florida. That's a long walk. I know Jesus walked, but that'd have been some days. I say those things to say that when you getting cussed out, you in the wrong. Like, you were in the wrong. You're in there. You're in the goal line, and you're backing up when you should be playing aggressive. And you back up and you give up the touchdown. You know you about to get cussed out. But you can't even accept coaching. That's an indictment of you and who you are, as well as an indictment of what you feel about this. Now, there's a couple things you're not finna do to me. You may not like me. You may think I'm stupid. But what you gonna do is respect me if I'm in a position of authority. And once we get to that, but it goes back to like this Mike Norvell and the black eye thing. Everybody want to talk about the black eye. But bitch, what happens if you cannot like your boss? But what you're not going to do is disrespect your boss unless you like that. Unless you are so pertinent to the company that they can't function without you. Let alone a lot of y'all egg this shit on good and damn well you wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. Your boss cussing you out right now for listening to this shit. You not finna get up to that. You ain't gonna get bucked. You know why? And I'm not even calling you a punk or a coward for not doing it. It's about understanding what you have to do. You have a responsibility to the people in your home. If you fight your boss, what's gonna happen to you? You're gonna get fired. Your ass will be on the unemployment line and you'll be fired with cause, meaning you won't get not a penny. So everybody was saying, oh man, they're fighting back. That shit sounds funny and cute to bitches who ain't never been in a fucking fight before. Now, players fight. But what I will say this is what I did see with that was a lack of respect, not just for the head coach. It should have never came to the head coach. There's this thing called chain of fucking command. There's a position coach you should have went through. There is your coordinator that you should have went through before you got to the head coach. Mike shouldn't have had to cuss him out because Tony White ass should have been cussing him out. Arguing isn't the problem. It's the lack of respect that's the problem. And the fact that they put his ass right back out there told me everything that I needed to know and let me know that how this game was going to go, because the way he played wasn't good enough to justify the energy in which he showed. And that's the problem that I have as a former player. And what people have to understand my mindset. I don't give a fuck who the coordinator is. I know this. If we go back and look at Jaden, can you pull up let's look at some of the guys who made up player. You know what? Pull up dude like that dude, Edwin Joseph. Somebody put Edwin Joseph's profile up there. Like 247 or on 3. Because I want to see something. I'm pretty sure Edwin Joseph was a highly coveted, recruited player that could go to more schools than Florida State was not the only school choice that young man had. So miss me with the Jimmys and the Joes shit, because a lot of these guys were wanted by other places. This is a heart issue. This is a fun, like we talk about recruiting the right guys. From a talent perspective, I know he has it. He has all the measurables that you want. As I joke with people, God did all the goddamn work. He just needs you to show up. But I remember talking to Amari Gaynor when he first came to Florida State, when Tag was there. I said, y'all are more athletic than us. We will beat the fuck out of y'all. Not because we're better athletes. Mentally and physically, we are tougher than you. And we don't want to lose. We're not from the rap hood. We from the real hood. Like, not that shit where we just talk about poverty. Some of us had actual poverty. People always ask me, James, how did you gain the weight that you gained when you was in college? I never ate 3 meals a day and 2 snacks until I got to college. Corey Fuller said something, and I never even thought about it like that. You know how many guys got their first room? The first time they had a room all to themselves was when they went to college. That was the first time experiencing something as simple as that. I was excited about the unlimited Powerade drinks. Like, do you know how crazy that sounds today? Eric put Penn State, Michigan, Miami, Louisville, Auburn, Oklahoma, all wanted that guy. So but what happens is something is happening on the inside that makes these guys feel placated. And it ain't just the NIL, because everybody has the NIL. It's not just that we were better. We knew that. We were real bullies. It's still in us. A bully is a bully. It reminds me of the Matthew McConaughey quote when him and the ugly dude were in that movie, whatever. I think it was The True Detective or something like that. And he was like, "Do you think we're bad men?" And he was like, "The world needs the world needs bad men like us. We're there to protect the weak from the other bad men." Like, we look forward to playing Miami. We look forward to the big game. And we didn't all I can honestly tell you, when we lost, you can see it was coaching. But the scoreboard never dictated us getting our asses whooped. I played for Jeffrey Bowden as my offensive coordinator. I have said it numerous times. Jeff put us in some very fucked up and precarious situations that we should not have been able to get out of. But what I knew, it was something my coach said, Billy Sexton said to me, and like, y'all probably hear the things that I've said about Billy Sexton and be like, how could you love a man like that? Because I'm used to that kind of coaching, dog. I'm used to that life. I buried my final homegoing service for one of the most influential people in my life was my grandmother. You got to remember, my grandmother told me when people were writing bad about me, "Who told your dumb ass to read?" That was my grandmother's love, was to make you tougher. Nobody cares. Work harder. Billy told me, "I'm going to send your ass back to Rockbrook." My mama didn't even live in the hood no more. She had risked it all to buy a house off of 27. That man said, it was a true, not one. I love my neighborhood I grew up in. It made me who I am. I want to go back and get more people from out of there and lift up. But the reality of the situation was, what we had to go to wasn't grand. It really was tough. We were more concerned about being the person who made the brand not good. And it's hard. That's why when you see Cromartie comment, like, you guys don't even understand. We from Tallahassee. We from there. Like, really from there. And when you come back and you walk around and you suck and you already are home, there is nowhere else for you to escape. Everybody knows you at the mall. You trying to take the girls to the AMC in the Tallahassee Mall. Oh, that sorry ass Semaho over there. Oh, now you want to be tough. Don't be tough to me. Should have been tough to somebody else. But I don't care who's coaching it. Mike Norvell will go away with a bunch of money. Just like Tag walked away with a bunch of money. Just like Jimbo walked away with a bunch of money. Their life is set. You will always be remembered as being the guys who fucked up the program. And this soft-ass fan base that goes away from blaming, because at the end of the day, the constant is the players. Every offensive player is designed to score. Every defensive player is designed to stop the offense from scoring. I got said that I played for the fucking lost decade. We never had a losing season during that time. We always at least had a chance to win the ACC. We had the number one defense. The offense might have sucked, but people, I won 3. I should have won 4. I was robbed of 1. 3 ACC championships, 4 January 1st games, and I am 2 missed field goals away from playing in a fucking national championship. But people say we were the lost decade because the decades before were so good. Some of that is on coaching, because either you're coaching it or you're allowing it. But what I just noticed was a guy who not only gave up the fucking touchdown, but is the reason why they had the reason why the field goal, like they missed the fucking field goal, but you decided to jump off sides. You kept fucking up. That means it's about you. It ain't about we, it's about you. And we can get into who needs to be the coach, but I don't give a fuck about none of that, because at the anniversaries and at all these different things, those are the guys who I'm going to have to run into and see. I saw a guy get hit in the back of the head with a fucking orange. Like, we didn't have facilities to hide. There wasn't online classes. I'm just, I blame everybody. I blame parents. I've seen text. My baby ain't playing. He better than them. My son can drop that pass. Man, let me tell you how. I'm putting my boy Kobe out there like that. I'll tell you what my dog Kobe said. He said, I learned this from my other son. I learned this, blah, blah, blah. If I have to say my kid can drop that pass and that my kid isn't better, then I'm part of the problem. You're part of the problem too. The fan base went from blaming the players because we had a GOAT with Bobby. They went from blaming the players to blaming just the coaches. Like, who the fuck you think is going to make a guy not do that? What he did. And I'm not trying to just pick on one guy. There's a million players I could probably go through and pick through. Like, right now, that guy, you can say that guy wouldn't be there, but that's true. We got to, but clearly, all the other schools wanted that guy. We got the guys, but the guys don't have it in here. Again, another Billy says, the only way to play work better is if I ran it myself, but that's illegal because I'm out of eligibility. The only thing I can say with the coaches is that attitude reflects leadership. Bill, man, I remember going to the movies and the whole movie theater started booing. I looked up to see who they were booing at. It was Chris Ricks. I'm saying, dog, y'all don't realize what it was like, because I love Chris. Y'all need to ask a good question. How do you identify the players who have it in their heart or the right attitude? Be honest with you, I don't know. I do know this. You can go look at how they respond to coaching. Are they that entitled kid? Are they? What do they look like when they fumble the ball and the coach comes over? Are they making excuses? Or are they just sitting there and taking it in, and then do they go out and make a better play? Hey, hold on now. Actually, you know I don't respond to Twitter messages, but put my dog Hish's thing up there. Hey, y'all, that ain't the all jokes aside, bro. That ain't the Miami that I grew up in. That ain't the Miami I almost went to. I seen that shit. This is every year y'all back and y'all have the best team ever. Like you had a number 1 overall pick last year, and you got the pieces this year. Yeah, I'm reading the comments. Y'all boys mad at me for roasting Bane. Here, like I ain't 40, like I ain't damn near 42 years old. Bane 20, Bane could have been my son. Y'all got the greatest of everything, but it don't equate to a fucking Pop Warner ring that says gay dicks on it. The problem is the pride. And the only thing that we're arguing about on the fan base is we're mad that we can't troll some other fucking losing ass people. RJ, do I think? Yes, I think the guys these days can handle that kind of coaching. As long as the coaching comes with love at the end of it. You can talk to kids any kind of way you want to talk to kids, as long as they know you truly care. It's called effective leadership. And that's the only reason I said, like, it doesn't matter how I like somebody or how I feel about somebody. Clearly, the shit ain't working. At the end of the day, it will get you fired. But I know we got it's some but from a game plan perspective, it's just you gotta move on. I think when it's not working, all of the things that you feel they should have done. Like, again, somebody like going back to the original thing. How do you know the kids who got heart? You look at who referred them and who's around them. Tough don't mean you from the projects. That's not tough. I know some soft ass motherfuckers from the hood. Bitches that fold like origami. And I know some tough ass kids from 2-parent households in the suburbs. Where you grew up does not make you tough or not. But what I will say is this, is how you respond, is how resilient you are. Tough times do not last, but tough people do. If you ever see me talk to my sons, I talk to my sons crazy sometimes. I also hug them and love them. And I'm going to my job is to tell you when you fucked up. Now, there's some things I couldn't get away with that my coaches did. That I won't. I don't have a heart. I'm too soft to do that shit. But, you know, we're going to get on it. But I'm as much as I'm going to fuck you up for fucking up on the football field, I'm also going to fuck you up for not having your academics straight. I'm also going to fuck you up because if your mom tells me you talk to her crazy. If a teacher tells me you talk to her crazy, I'm not going to. One of my running backs, I just got him. I found out that he couldn't make it to class on time every day. And he had motherfucker had like 20 tardies. Like, the only way to get that, like, he was late to literally every class. Man, I looked at him before a game. I said, hey, no, it was after the game. I said, hey, man, you did really good. And I talked in front of his daddy. So he did very good. I'm going to tell you this right here, though. If I have to come up to this school and personally walk you to every fucking class on time, you ain't gonna like the effects that's gonna be at that practice, though. And then I tell them something that my dad told me one time, and my dad's not a great father at all. I've told you guys that. You guys know that. But he did say something, and it was very true. And my dad was an intimidating guy. Can you handle it, or do you need me to handle it? Because if I handle it, I'm going to handle it in the best way for me. And, yeah. So let me see where we get into with this other stuff. Go ahead, Jaden. Let's chop it up about that, because then we'll get into where Florida State move should move on, or what are the different things that they're doing.
So before we get into some Mike Norvell talk, I just wanted to highlight, James, a pivotal point, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, of this game, especially in regards to the team. So I'm going to pull up the play-by-play again and give my opinion on where I knew things really, really fell apart, and that was the Tommy Castellanos play. So when Tommy Castellanos ultimately ended up getting injured from the Stanford safety, man, only one person seemed to rush the safety on our squad. Nobody was backing up the QB. They were just standing there looking stunned while our QB ended up getting injured and taken out the game. So that was in the fourth quarter at the 2-minute 23 mark right there. And it looks like Pittman was the only one to try and get his lick back on the other player. So that's when I knew that was the final straw for me, just seeing that in real time happen. And whew, man, no support, man. You can't even get your guys to support the QB when he gets targeted on. So, man, it's hard to recover from that. Hard to recover from that. But we talked about this game.
It was before that, dog. He's looking at I mean, I get he's really, really tall, but the only person he sees is Deuce. But in that situation, in that scenario, you do want to go out there, but you probably don't want to. Did that guy get kicked out? Because I went to sleep after that.
Yes, his name was Mitch Legber, and he ended up getting called for that targeting penalty.
Probably going to be in a fire ass accountant in a couple of years.
And then Sperry got put into the situation, actually ended up marching down the field, and ultimately resulted in that short play by Gavin Sawchuk that did not cross the goal
and just running
line.
soft. No AFOC by Sawchuk at all. Like the Sawchuk that ran that was fucking doing us in Orlando, like it's not the same. The same. The O-line isn't playing as fiery as it's crazy because you saw it. We saw it week 1. And then we don't see it anymore. Anytime that there's a pulse, anytime that there's some opposition, nobody is afraid of you guys. And that's the hard part. Like, but I do understand where the old heads came from when they were upset with us. Like nobody, but people feared us still. Nobody's afraid of Florida State right now. And part of it too is the branding and the media aspect and a lot of other different things. And woe is us. Anytime something bad happens, we're like this. But like right now, we're in a situation where guys don't respond. They don't. It's like, do you want to go to the league? Like, it's kind of why, like, it's really fucking confusing to me. Like, you go to Florida State to go to the league. Like, if you can't, I'm sorry, like, they're not looking at Stanford's right guard. But you are supposed to be that guy? And I'm not putting all, like, because if a team scores 20 points, you're supposed to be able to score 27, 28 points. You should be able to score more points than what you scored. And you have in past weeks. But what's really fucking me up right now is how, like, what the fuck happened to you? Like, but then is this a safe space? Am I good? Hold on, let me get some. I need to get approval before I make this call, because he'll tell me the truth. Do you think he up? Do I want to call? Who's gonna give me the more diplomat? I'm gonna call my dog. I'm gonna call. Let me call this guy real quick. See if he answers the phone. Sometimes people might not answer the phone. If he don't answer it, I'll call the GOAT. But we should have scored 30.
That was a good one.
I got a question, Core, real quick. I was a decent. Am I a decent enough player to be able to say maybe this guy shouldn't be doing autograph signings?
You said, are you?
Yeah, am I because I don't want to go and say something and then somebody get offended because we're talking about not sorry ass, but I'm calling out the fan base right now because they're not as hard. They're nowhere near as hard on these other kids as they were hard on when we played. Like we got caught the lost decade and we won. Right. We won shit. Yeah, like these guys literally are about to be on Coach 3 that they fired, and
I think so. I mean, I think you got plenty of legs and ground to stand on, dog.
Okay. Seriously. I just wanted to try to get something before I go out because this is how I know our fan base is soft. I get Miami got Malik Rozier, I think that's his name or whatever. I don't really remember any plays outside of a random Florida State victory that he made to be a spokesperson for them. But I knew we were cooked when I saw James Blackman at an autograph signing with Jordan Travis. I don't even think he transferred out, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Arkansas State. Man, all right, man. That lets me know we as a fan base, we need as a whole, we need a reset.
We be just welcoming all kinds of shit in, man. I saw that last week, and I kind of the Miami week, and I kind of questioned that myself, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna hit you up a little bit later.
All right. Well.
All right. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Just like that. That's how. I almost kind of want to. I might make the Hall of Fame now because we ain't got no good players coming up in the last 10 years. The standard is not being upheld, man. And that's not a shot to him because I think he's a good kid. But that just lets me know, y'all just want to blame the one part, and that's a significant part to blame. A significant part to blame. But damn, it's guys it's reasons why we ain't getting fired for playing with Heisman Trophy players.
But I'm sorry, James.
No. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So, James, we got some recent news courtesy of the people in the chat of the situation and circumstance regarding Mike Norvell. So, James, it looks like our AD, who we recently had on the show, Michael Alford, has released a statement. So, let's see what this statement says. Below is a statement from Florida State Vice President and Director of Athletics, Michael Alford. Quote, Florida State football benefits from unmatched passionate support from the entire FSU family, and the commitment to our football program is unwavering. We rightfully have high expectations in everything we do to represent Florida State in the manner that built our reputation as one of college football's best programs, cultivating an extraordinary group of supporters nationally and globally. We embrace those expectations while also sharing the deep disappointment when results on the field are short of that standard. As we continue to move forward this season, our comprehensive assessment of the football program will be completed at season's end. Meanwhile, we are fully committed to helping Coach Norvell and the 2025 Seminoles strongly rebound in the coming weeks.
All right. Y'all want me to tell you what that means? You've seen Alford on this show, and they know, Mike, it goes to the text. So what I did tweet out about that, the era is over. What it's about now is negotiations of buyouts. And who exactly can you attack, and who do you to attack to become the head coach, and what direction do you want to go in? The more teams fire their coaches early, and James Franklin knows there's no rush for me to get anywhere. I can find the best job. There's going to be a retread here more than likely. It's not going to be Jimbo Fisher. I'm gonna be honest with you. If it's Jimbo Fisher, then I'm not done with the program. I'm gonna take a pause for a year or two to reflect on what the program, the direction that the program is going. And that's got no disdain to Jimbo. It's just that I actually really remember what happened with Jimbo. And what I mean by that is y'all don't remember who was the offensive coordinator that got Bobby fired. I'll answer for you, Jimbo Fisher. He was the offensive coordinator when everybody was saying that the offense isn't doing anything and we need to get rid of Bobby. Then I remember the first few years that Jimbo had when the results weren't any better than when it was with Bobby. And he was getting ready to be fired before if he did not perform in the 2012 season. They won the ACC 2012, won the Natty 2013, went to the playoff in 14, and I'll give you 15. But then do you remember 16 and 17? Do you remember what Jimbo looked like with every available resource in a football culture state with top classes? He was a mediocre SEC team at best. In fact, the guy before him performed better, and the guy after him is performing better than him. Why would I want that? It was great when we had him. I will always appreciate that 2013 is one of the best years of my life. I had my baby, I had my oldest son, and Florida State won a national championship. I'm not trying to get that old flame back, guys. Like, a lot of this stuff y'all got to just write down on paper. Like, all you remember is 3. It's kind of like y'all treat Jimbo like y'all treat Jordan. You only remember the 6 rings. You don't remember that Jordan's entirety of his career. It's not saying that Jordan wasn't great. It's just that you only talk about the 6 years. And you forget that people were calling him the GOAT before he won a ring. That's all I'm saying. James Franklin, I actually get James Franklin, a good offensive coordinator. I've seen what he produces as far as NFL talent on defense. I'd be quite interested to see what he would do in a hotbed like Florida, especially if he's bringing Juwan Sider on. He's a hell of a recruiter. But to Michael Alford's statement, all that's telling me is that Mike's gone. That's the same statement that every SEC athletic director made up until recently. You don't have, like, if you, it's kind of like this. When a kid enters the transfer portal, if he doesn't have an idea where he's going, then that kid is trash. That kid made a bad decision. Mike Alford said on this show that he has 5 guys. I believe it was 5 guys. I might be confused. Like, Jeremy Foley and him gave me the exact same quote before. Every year he meets with his staff about who are coaching candidates that they will go after if things opened up. But outside of your initial needs, and this is not me placating the fan base, I'm pissed with you. If they fire Mike Norvell and we lose homecoming, you know what I'm going to be? Pissed. If we fire Mike Norvell, we lose to Florida, you know what I'm going to be? Pissed. I'm going to be pissed whether he's the coach or whether he's not the coach. But what exactly and I know we saw what the University of Florida did. What exactly does firing the coach right now do for you? Firing a coach now does not give you the head start that you believe on the coaching searches. Firing a head coach, all it does is it makes us feel better. You know what Nah, it doesn't. Firing, like, you know what hurts recruiting? Not having anybody be able to recruit. Like, you fire him, there is nobody to recruit your recruits. Like, if you fire a guy right now, you don't have any infrastructure or any foundation. You have off-field guys, but those off-field guys are all work for Mike. No, that does not, like, firing coach guys. Those are all, like, what I need y'all to do is get out of the old 1980s Wall Street mentality and get into the new world. Firing a coach for your, like, this is not the NFL. You don't get a higher recruiting class where you fire all right, let's talk for real. Again, my other gripe about Jimbo. Does anybody remember the conversation? Like, me and Danielle Kelly had Kenyatta Watson on before he took the job at Florida State and before he took the job at Auburn and all those different places. Do y'all remember what K. Watt said when Jimbo had do you remember how far the class dropped while Jimbo was coaching but not working for Florida State because he already had a foot outside the door? Nobody was in communication with the kids. So when nobody's in communication, you're gonna, like, shoot. You want to see a real life scenario? Look at what's happening with Penn State right now. Did y'all not see what happened with Penn State? I'm not saying keep or not keep them. I'm just saying have a plan. Like, here's what I would do. If Derek Ray is still your general manager, right? If that's the direction that you're going, or let me rephrase it, I'm going an NFL model. The first thing I'm firing is my general manager, or I'm getting my solidarity with my GM. Because if I have my GM, then I know I will have, and my GM is not necessarily with my head coach, then I know I'll have recruiting stuck in place. Because recruiting is the lifeblood of football. So if D-Ray is going to be your GM regardless, or you're going to give him a shot, then you're good, because recruiting will stay the same. Now, if D-Ray isn't your guy, then, hey, okay, I'm with you. I just don't want to not have any control over any of the guys. And I want to know who that person is going to be. So that would be my only comment on that. And that's also could be me. I will admit I have that part. I don't know all of the ins and outs. I can ask the questions, but I don't have all the ins and outs on that. But what I do know is I am a big fan of firing people. It's it's not about the head coach. Okay, let me rephrase it. How can a lame coach recruit? How can no coach recruit? I'll answer a question with the question. Who does the recruiting if you don't have anybody there to recruit? Who calls? Who checks on the kids? Who does anything? I mean, if you put your hand, we're going to put it up on the Jumbotron, Twitter or Facebook. Does not matter. If you get rid of the coach, who recruits? Because nobody knows if they're going to be there or not. Well, actually, we all know they're not going to be there. But, like, you don't, like, there has to be a way, and I'm sure Coach Fuller has that. But I'm also sure that they're going to put it into a situation where they're going to have the foundation be able to be there to be able to keep guys in place. But I do know this. When I got the text this morning, I knew a lot of people weren't going to be happy. And I know you're not going to be happy But Florida's been trying to fire their coach since they got him. And I do know this. Every time we've done, the better question I'm going to pose is this. The better question I want to pose is this. Where has this worked? Where has this worked? Now, this is not me saying that. I'm with you. I'm with everybody. Something has to give. Something has to change. But show me the school where it is worked at. It could be because it could be. I'm not saying this because I'm right. I don't know. I know Florida's done this a couple of times, and they're right back to where they're at. And I think Florida has a better off-field situation than Florida State does. Their biggest recruiter is their biggest booster. Did it work for has it worked for Miami yet? It seems like they're better, they're more improved, but I'd argue they're in the similar situation they were when they brought Mark Richter in to correct the program. Definitely hasn't worked in Florida. Georgia didn't do did Ole Miss fire their guy in the middle of the season? I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out just when does it work? Because none of the other programs have done that. None of the big ones. Oregon didn't do it. Ohio State hasn't had to do it. Michigan did a handoff. But I do know. Here's what I know. Here's what I believe. It's not happening today. It won't happen this week. But if you listened last week, we told you guys everything in this program has happened around Wake Forest. Wake Forest will probably be the thing that really gets the wheels moving. But I do know Mike Alford won't make a decision without having a plan in place. And hopefully that will happen. So we got to move on. We got to get to something. Again, we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. The other shit is irrelevant. We don't bury the lead. But what else we got with in regards to this, Jaden?
I actually wanted to end off this segment with some good news, James. I know there's a lot of commotion going around in discourse, so we got some news courtesy of Ethan Pritchard's camp. So
Nice.
Update from Ethan's aunt. He is moving both of his hands and can lift his right arm now.
Nice.
He's in a rigorous rehab program to get all of his movement back. He's been putting in the work and is making steady progress every day, meeting and exceeding all of the goals set for him by his doctors. He does have his phone now and is on Insta. If you guys want to send him some messages, give him a follow at LAA_.E9. Give him a follow for any updates directly from Ethan. Looks like we need him on the field, James. Man, making the recovery, man. Looks like, man. So much to discuss, man, with this team. And we will definitely keep you guys updated on the head coaching situation, and we're going to keep you guys up to date with everything revolving around FSU football. So
I was shocked his head. I was like, he got shot in the head, right?
Yes, in the head.
Man, you seen his dreads is crispy. I was impressed. Good stuff. That man, I can't wait to get that man on the field.
Yeah, shout out to the Ethan Pritchard family and wishing him a speedy recovery as he's enduring that rehab process in Jacksonville in Brooks Rehab. So shout out to the Pritchard family for keeping the fans updated in this crucial time. So sending a speedy recovery to him. Now, James, let's take a look at the new AP poll for this week. So let's take a look at the AP poll for week 9, James. Ohio State, number 1. James, is looking like the Indiana QB is leading, the Heisman race, man. He's coming in with the number 2 ranked squad as well. Then you have Texas A&M, Bama, Georgia, Oregon, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss, and Miami comes in at number 9 with their loss to Louisville, and Vanderbilt is in the top 10. Vanderbilt is ranked number 10. So this is Vanderbilt's highest ranking since 1947. So they recently beat LSU, and that was their first victory against LSU since 1990. So they've been doing some historic things at the program. BYU, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Missouri, Virginia, Tennessee, USF, Louisville, LSU, Cincinnati, Texas, Illinois, Kenny Dillingham, and Arizona State. And finally, Michigan rounds out that top 25.
If you can coach at Vandy, you can coach anywhere. Like James Franklin was from Vandy, did a really good job. This guy is, I mean, he's got a 40-year-old quarterback, but still nonetheless, he's doing really good with what he's in Georgia Tech. Like if you told me we had to wait for Brent Key, I'd wait for Brent Key. Like, but I don't think we're getting him.
Just wanted to read you off some of the notable games that occurred this past weekend. So Georgia ended up beating Ole Miss 43-35 in a very, very close game between the SEC opponents right there. And then Alabama beat 11th ranked Tennessee 37-20. Arizona State upsetted Texas Tech 26-22. Vanderbilt beat LSU 31-24 in Vanderbilt. And Georgia Tech is the only ACC team to still be undefeated. James, they're 7-0, and they defeated Duke 27-18 as well. Oklahoma beat South Carolina 26-7. USC and Notre Dame, a historic rivalry, ended up with Notre Dame getting the dub 34-24. BYU beat Utah 24-21. Missouri beat Auburn 23-27. Virginia beat Washington State 22-20. South Florida dominated FAU 48-13. Texas barely scraped by the 2-3 Kentucky squad, winning 16-13 in overtime. And Cincinnati beat Oklahoma State. Michigan beat Washington 24-7 as well. And then some more games for you guys. Florida ended up actually getting the dub over Mississippi State as well. And then, yeah, those are some of the notable games that occurred. And just wanted to show you guys the AP polls for this upcoming week. And James, you know we got to talk about one of the big 3 teams, Miami. So Miami lost to Louisville. James, at Miami. You were actually at that game as well, and we see it right here. So Louisville defeated number 2 Miami 24-21. So Sports Center put the Cardinals get their second win versus an AP top 2 team.
Bro, you talking about stretching stats? They're gonna just. I've never heard it worded AP top 2. Why don't you just say top 5 team? Like, come on, bro.
So they ended up getting that dub against the Miami Hurricanes. So the talk of the town, James, was Carson Beck, the guy you actually end up going there to support. And many fans were confused why he was wearing the green and orange Miami jersey, because it looks like he was in his old red Georgia jersey, the way he was slinging them picks out there. But let's take a look at these stats, man. 25 of 35, 271 yards, no touchdowns, had a goose egg in that category, but he had 4 of those interceptions. Whew, man, you can't win a game going 0 for 4, man.
You can't. But what's funny in all of this is, my boy Hish was in here, and I know some Hurricanes in here that, like, misery loves company, and I'm with you. But you guys, you're where you're at, and I think Mario is going to eventually slide into like an ACC championship, but you don't have a wartime consigliere at coach either. I want Miami fan to step back and just think about this. How many games have you seen your head coach lose you through game management? You went into half with all your timeouts. The first half. You're literally in field goal range. With 30 seconds left on the clock, I believe. So if you're throwing the ball, why would you throw it to the sidelines when you have timeouts and time? Like, if anything, attack, right? Or just fucking run the ball, kick the field goal, go into overtime. Don't lose the game. What gives you, like, Carson thrown 3 interceptions at that point. And two of the interceptions were his fault because his arm, as I said on this, his arm just doesn't look like it's all the way healthy. The ball sails when he tries to throw it deep. And, Louisville's defensive coordinator said, you know what we're not going to do? We're not going to let number 10 and number 7 just go scot-free without being unmolested on the line. We're going to make sure that they have accountability buddies. Florida State's defensive coordinator said, you know what? Man, fuck it. I'm going to let those guys rape us. But there are interceptions nonetheless. Your defense was playing well. Your defense put you in position to almost win that game. You have one of the most massive NFL-ready offensive lines in college football. Trust me, we've heard all of the bullshit. But you don't run the ball. Can blow up the box scores. Can we go see what was the rushing? Mark Fletcher is 200-something pounds. Both your big running backs are like 200-something pounds, man. Like, this is when I know winning cures all. And winning allows people to go and inspect and look at everybody else because, yeah, we're winning. But you're not looking at how you're winning. Mark Fletcher has 8 carries. Does that say 18 yards? Oh, my Jesus. Jordan Lyle, another big guy. He had 5 carries. You don't run the ball. But you have an NFL line. Guys, your beat is going there like Louisville's so small. We're going to do this to them. We're going to do that to them. So you got mashed. You got your guts beat in like a fat girl with a skinny dude. That's what you were going up against, and then he beat your back in. And you lost, which is crazy. Like I actually did not believe that Louisville would beat Miami. I'm on wax saying Miami might be the best team in the nation. And wow. I thought I was wrong about Florida State. Actually, no, I was on par with Florida State. I did not think we were winning a championship. The most I was wrong is that we ain't going to the Gator Bowl. Yeah, now it's like now they're playing the good Ducks, like the mediocre, the medium hand. Like you know what? Every good woman falls for a medium handsome guy. And they fell for they're the bad bitch in prom with the ugly dude with the ugly baby daddy that nobody knows how he got her. Shot up the club. But Carson's 4 interceptions were not optimal. I did not like the way that some of you fans were picking on my guy. And not because you're picking on him. I want to laugh too, but I can't. Can't laugh. Because we suck. And that's my guy. But I do have questions to ask him. I do have a question to ask him at the combine. We will talk about the Louisville thing. But Louisville, like Brom, somebody asked like if we Brom, Brent Key, but you're not getting either one of those, in my opinion. Not because you can't afford them, it's just because they're in good places. Like Brom can coach for 30 years. And be okay. Personally, give me James Franklin to stabilize the program, but I still can't believe this happened, man. But my man Carson, always be a Mandarin U alum. Love Carson to death. Hope I need you to lose Carson from me. If y'all could lose 1 more game, 2 more games. No, because I think if Miami loses 1 more ACC game, it doesn't matter what they do for the rest of the season. Nobody's going to bring them into the college football playoff. Because their best win, well, they'll have the Notre Dame. Notre Dame would have it right by then. Oh my God. Do not. I'm not even going to read. You know what, Titan? You're just trying to get me to mad, Titan. But shout out to Carson and those guys. Really good. Like Miami unfortunately doesn't give you anything Miami in the boxes. Like food. Like I go to Miami to get this kind of food. Yeah, like no Cuban sandwiches. They're you $10 for a slice of pizza. Cheese pizza, not even pepperoni. Now you don't want to look at the price. I see why a lot of their fans stay out in the parking lot. And I now I know why the game was empty. People talking about nobody's going to go to a Florida State game if Mike is still the head coach. I promise you we will still have just as many fans as was at that Miami game. Back to back, I've gone to 2 Miami games. I went to Miami Notre Dame, and it was not sold out. I went to this game on a Friday, mind you. It wasn't even close to being sold out. I'm going to say this type. Prime can't sign top recruits now. What makes y'all think just because somebody's loud and cool doesn't mean that like people see that bullshit? Like Prime, no. Tag brought in the top recruits. Tag brought in just as many. Hell, we had a lot of recruits come to the Miami game. They just seen us get our ass whooped 2 weeks in a row. So no longer will we bring in those top guys anymore. Shit was all good just a week ago.
Whole clique was eating good about a week ago. Man. Let's highlight, though, a freshman who continues to, do his thing. Shout out to Malachi Tony. 9 receptions, James, 135 yards. It seems like this is a stat line every week.
might want to guard that guy. He's pretty good.
He is very, very good, and sucks to see this for Miami fans out there. But man, Miami has fallen. So we hinted at it at the beginning of the show, but Florida has fired their head coach, Billy Napier. Napier was 22 and 20.
Money don't make no money.
Napier was 22 and 23 as Florida's head coach over the last 4 seasons. And Hard Rock Bet put this great post up of the top landing spots for Billy Napier. You got UNC, Nebraska, UCLA, UAB, and coming in at number 5, you got the greatly esteemed private-owned institution, Publix. So thought this is a funny post by Hard Rock Bet. They got Billy Napier going to Publix in that 5th spot. So he gonna be bagging your fried chicken, everybody. So we heard that the buyout for Billy Napier was a little bit north of that $20 million price range, James. So they got him out of there for the Florida Gators. So what are they going to do now, James? Because they fired a coach during the middle of the season. Who are they going to get now?
Florida's going to follow the same philosophy and recipe that they followed for the last few times. And it's worked out glowingly for them. You know, everybody wants you to do this. So, like, again, I've been a part of those different things. So, like, they've been talking about firing Billy for quite some time. There's a guy they also have an athletic director that they hate, that they want to fire, that they want to hire this guy. So 2 things are going to happen. I don't believe Scott Strickland makes this decision. If he does, then Florida fans will be right back in the same fucking position in 4 more years. Florida's going after 2 people mainly. One of them, and I don't think they get either one of those guys. Florida wants badly to be able to pull off what Florida State and what Miami has both been able to do to varying results. They went to a big dog and they snatched a big dog with the unlimited purse from there. Marcus Freeman is a guy that they're enamored with. Marcus Freeman will probably cost them upwards, including the buyout, around $10 million a year, maybe a little bit more than that. Or the sexiest name, not that has some actual prudence and like some real like you actually could get this guy, would be Lane Kiffin, and Lane Kiffin has ties. I think his ex-wife is her dad is a well-known booster at UF. Lane wants to get into the state of Florida. Lane will probably get them upward between 12 and 14 million a year that they'll need to put to him. Now, both Florida and UF both have contract situations where they're trying to work out where they have to pay X amount up front, a lump sum, and then the rest of it will be paid over time. But with that, the job that those coaches that they're firing, that Florida State and Florida State will potentially fire, Florida has fired, will be required to try to find a job that gets them a lot of money, so where they're not paying another school for their head coach. So like it has to be like it's almost like I've never had a real job, but from what I've heard about people who do unemployment, like you have to actively look for a job. Like you can't just become an analyst. You have to actually, your name has to be in the hat for many things for them to continue to pay that price tag. So but I think Florida will be going. I think those are the two names that Florida that I've heard Florida really, really hot and heavy for. Franklin was tossed around, but I don't think that they're going for a retread. I think they're going for the hottest name and somebody that they believe will take their quarterback that they currently have to the next level. And I don't think a lot of people want they have to. It just all depends on how they feel about DJ. So that would be that's my thoughts on the Florida job. But it's a good job. It's a good job. They're willing to pay and they're willing to do the things that are necessary. And that's what you have to be able to show in this climate. You have to be willing to pay. You have to be willing to do what's necessary. You have to understand that 10 wins is the new goal to be able, because you want to be able to get into the college football playoff, and stability in staffs and good staffs are going to be what keeps people around. So you will start to see other guys, but also look at the coach at USF. If all else fails and they're not able to get their splash guy, because let's not get it twisted. Florida has been told no numerous times. They fired Jim McElwain thinking that they were going to get a big fish, and they didn't get the big fish. They couldn't get. They struck out on everybody, and then they went to the girl that they knew wouldn't tell them no, and Dan Mullen. Even though Dan Mullen's wife hates Gainesville, but she does love kissing young black boys on the lips. Don't believe me? Go look. She kissed them. She was kissing them, giving them smooches right before they walked onto the field, and that was a little creepy. Looked like that black was the little picture, like with the white lady with all the black men around her. Wow, she was very. If she was a white couched, I wouldn't be surprised. And yes, it is Jimmy Sexton season. Jimmy Sexton season just came a little bit early. It's supposed to happen around Halloween. Jimmy Sexton is the boogeyman. It's just they're making my dog put the hot dogs down. Because if y'all remember, if you listen to this show, I met Jimmy Sexton 2 years ago, and I saw Jimmy eat 8 boiled hot dogs with no condiments, just 8 glizzy. Look at that. That's a little too close for me. Man, I can smell. Ooh, in the morning too? Who knows, man? You know what? She married too? Man, I don't know what you and Dan been doing, man. Don't put them lips that close to me that early in the morning. I've listened to some of my pilgrim friends talk. She might have been tossing salad with no ranch. I don't want your lips that close to me.
Tossing salad with barbecue sauce.
Seasonings, Lawry's.
Anyways,
they fired Mike Norvell. They fired Norvell.
Just the wrong one, ladies and gentlemen. Just the wrong one. So Colorado State has fired Jay Norvell. Norvell. So, man, Jay Norvell was a coach at Colorado State, and he had an 18-26 record during his time with the program. I'm pretty sure we all got wind of him once the Dion and whole Colorado State feud happened. Was it 2 seasons ago? It's been a
Yeah, it was
while now.
Dion's.
Was it 2 seasons?
It was Dion's first year. It's 3 seasons ago. My first year with the Gator Bowl. Yeah. So this is the 3rd season. So like this is like, but Dion stole a page from the Muhammad Ali playbook. When you like make it, he was the house Negro and Dion was the field Negro, and they took like comments like way out of context. Like that man was talking about my mama, man. Like this, that, and other, blah blah blah. And Colorado State had an epic game. That was the one with Travis got hit, and
yep.
And was it his spleen or something like that? And then Dion wasted no time getting that boy back in, letting him play both sides of the ball after he was pissing blood. Like that boy could have died.
So if we have any Colorado State fans in the chat, we wanted to let you know about the firing, but we just want to give you guys an update on the updates in college football, especially in this head coaching dilemma that many schools are going through. Somebody in the comments on this post actually said, warming up for the real Norvell fire with the fire emoji. So, man, fans waste no time. They waste no time. But, James, I know we had some comedic relief, in these last couple of minutes, but it looks like we're going back in the roller coaster of fandom because we'd like to start off with the Jaguars. So we have to talk about the Jaguars 35-7 defeat for the LA Rams. But before we get into that, we just wanted to give you guys the scores for the NFL week of games. In week 7, you see first 35-7. We're going to get back into that shortly. But let's move on through these games. Nobody was expecting the Browns to put BTA like they did against the Dolphins. 31-6. Bears beat the Saints 26-14. The Colts beat the Chargers 38-24. Carolina beat the Jets 13-6. They are still the only winless team in the NFL. The Broncos had a historic fourth quarter comeback against the Giants 33-32. Philly ended up beating the Vikings 28-22. The Packers beat the Cardinals 27-23. Kansas City had a shutout against their AFC West, division rival in the Raiders 31-0. America's team beat the Commanders 44-22. Jayden Daniels did have a hamstring injury. Patriots beat the Titans 31-13, and your Sunday night matchup was between the 49ers and the Falcons 20-10. Mac Jones does it again. Shout out to Duval, man. Every time he gets a dub, man, we obviously gonna big up Mac Jones. Was a high school player at Bowles, did play for the Jaguars as well. So shout out to the backup quarterback for the Niners, Mac Jones. And James, we are here. We are here at our Jaguars discussion for today. So I'm going to get all these shared with you, and we're going to get the dialogue rolling in regards to Duval's team, aka the Jaguars. We did play in London, like I mentioned, and we did lose 35-7. So let's take a look at the details of this game and hear what James has to say about specific instances and scenarios in regards to this game. First things first, let's bring up the box score. So Matthew Stafford went 21 of 33. He had 182 yards, but he had 5 touchdowns on the day. Kyron Williams led the Los Angeles Rams, and actually he led both teams in rushing with 54 yards as well. So who scored for the Rams? Devontae Adams had 3 receiving touchdowns, even though he only had 5 receptions for 35 yards. Terrence Ferguson, 1 reception for 31 yards and a tutty, and Kanata Mumpfield had 1 reception for 5 yards and a touchdown as well. The only person to score for the Jaguars was Travis Hunter, and this marked his first NFL touchdowns. So we're going to come back to Travis, but we're going to start up the top with Trevor. He went 23 of 48 for 296 yards and 1 touchdown, but he got sacked 7 times, losing 32 yards. Travis Etienne Jr., 8 carries, 44 yards. Basul Tutton, 5 carries for 22 yards. And Trevor Lawrence decided to use his legs, and he had 2 carries for 18 yards. Travis Hunter, 8 receptions for 101 yards and 1 TD. He actually led the team with targets with 14. Parker Washington, 4 receptions, 52 yards. De'Ami Brown, Brian Thomas Jr. had 50 or less receiving yards. Brian Thomas Jr. had 3 receptions, but he had 7 targets on the day. We're going to get back to Brian Thomas Jr., but let's take a look at who got the sacks for the Rams. So Nate Landman, Josiah Stewart, and Jared Verse, Byron Young, and Laurel Murchison all contributed to the 7 sacks. So shout out to Jared Verse. Didn't want him to do good against the Jags, but he's an NIL, so we have to shed some light on him. He had 2 total tackles, 1 solo, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for loss, and he had 2 QB hits as well.
A lot of pressures too.
A lot of pressures as well. And Ventrell Miller for the Jags was actually the leading tackler for the squad. So I'm going to go to the team stats. The Jags had 5 less first downs than the Los Angeles Rams, and we both were pretty horrible on third down. The Rams went 2 for 10 on third down, while the Jaguars went 3 for 15, but Jaguars went 2 of 6 on fourth down, while the Rams went 2 of 2. So the Jaguars actually had more total yards than the Rams in this game. Yes, you heard what I said correctly. They actually had more total yards than the Rams during this game, more passing yards, and they had 5 more rushing yards as well. But just take a look at the penalty categories, guys. The Rams had 5 penalties, 45 yards, while the Jags had 13 penalties for 119 yards, and the Jags only had 3 less minutes of time of possession than the Rams. So I just wanted to share this post, James, because, man, watching the game and seeing it on your timeline is completely different feeling. So this is what the Jaguars started the game with. 3 straight punts, then they missed a field goal, and since then, they've had 3 drives, reached field goal range, went for it on 4th down each time, and failed to convert on their conversions. And at this point of this tweet, they still had 0 points in the game. So that lone touchdown actually came in somewhat would consider garbage time, if you will, because the score was 28-0 in the 4th quarter. Travis Hunter got his first NFL touchdown in the 4th quarter. So, James, before we get into the nitty-gritty details, post-game interview of the coach, and some of the next-gen stats of this game, what were your thoughts on the Jaguars' just some would say lack of effort in their 35-7 L against the Los Angeles Rams?
Devin Lloyd is really missed on that defense. The back end of their secondary played better this week, but when you're able to run the ball, when you're able to get move in chunks of yardage, then things are differently. And then that field was obviously not the best. I like the Rams strategy though. You know, the Rams came over the day before. They shifted everybody to they flew out to Baltimore. They practiced in Baltimore. Then they flew from there to London. And they just, basically said, fuck it. Like, because one of the things I will say when traveling, my energy level the day of is a lot better than my energy level the next day. Like, when everything kind of catches up to you. They had a better preparation strategy, but they also played to what their strengths were. I've said this for years, and people get mad. We clip it. They tell me these different things. It's everybody else's fault that the passes drop, except for the person throwing the passes. But I'm going to tell you this. Wet environment, you completely abandon the running game when you did not have to abandon it. Do you have Trevor Lawrence's next gen stats, the passing chart? Do we already have that or no?
No, it seems like they usually do this for the winners. So
pull up Matt Stafford's passing chart. Do you have that one?
Yes, they actually do have Matt Stafford's passing chart. That's the reason why I made that winners comment. So right here.
Wow, shit, he actually threw it further down the field than I thought. More often than not. But let's Sid, look at all the most of his completions are below 10 yards. And that's what we always say. So that means he was getting rid of the ball fast. And then they took their shots, but they missed a lot going deep. I bet if we looked at Trevor's, you're gonna see almost the reverse of this. I saw a lot of 5 and 7 step drops in a wet environment, into double coverage, into slow developing plays when one of the weak points of your offensive line is their pass protection. I went on Mia O'Brien's show, 904 Happy Hour. I think that's what it's called. 904 something. And we were talking about Walker Little. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find this dude. This dude comes on there. I hate when people come and they don't do their research on the person talking. Out of all the people in Jacksonville, not named Leon Searcy, Fred Taylor, or any of these other motherfuckers, I played this shit. I kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. You might not like what I'm talking about, but I do have an idea of what I'm talking about. Shit, I don't even know if I'll be able to find this shit. But the guy was like, you can tell he doesn't know, or blah, blah, blah. And he talked about Walker Little's grade and all these different things. And I'm like, bro, I'm just saying Walker Little needs some help. The boy, and what do? You put him in situations where help doesn't even help him. NFL 2.3 seconds is when the ball needs to be released for you to be able to consistently not get pressure on your quarterback. They are in this mentality where Trevor Lawrence has to be the hero. Abandon that thought process. You don't want Trevor being your hero. You want Trevor. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read the comment the dude said. What kind of half-ass analysis is this? If he held his own against Daniel Hunter, Will Anderson Jr., he should be fine. I want to go, I'm just want to revisit this. I'm going to text this right now. I want to revisit this. Don't put guys in situations where they're not good at. Stop making Trevor the guy who you want to win the game. Stop that. That's not his ministry. And I'm going to tell you this, guys, as a guy who's caught, do we have, I know we're going to have to ban him out, but since we got a bunch of people live, I'm willing to do this. Do we have any clips of any of the drops, any of the highlights from the game, Jaden?
So the main video circulating around with the drop is the main one would be the Brian Thomas Jr. drop over the middle, and the one where it looks like he was getting hit mid-air.
Let's look at these. Let's roll that wonderful bean footage then. Because I'm so sick of this shit. Even Jimmy Smith's ass. I love Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith should be a Hall of Famer. Probably won't be for a lot of the reasons why Bob Hayes wasn't a Hall of Famer until later on posthumously, because Jimmy Smith, much like Michael Irvin, during that day, those guys did a lot of crazy shit because they were on a lot of crazy shit. But right now, you talking that crazy shit, and you have every right to talk it because you were that guy. But let's just roll. Let's run this. All right, so run it back. And pause. Should he have caught that? I agree. But what do we call this? Is this motherfucker ball? You threw your guy into a person, and that's Kitchens from Miami, if I remember correctly, who has a running start and is going to fuck your wide receiver up. I am sorry. When you get me fucked up consistently, I'm going to start tweaking a little bit. Like, it's like have you ever seen like again battered women or battered kids when a parent does that, they flinch? That's like catching the ball from Trevor Lawrence. They're terrified. They're terrified to catch the pass. This is what we need. If Miles, if you make this a clip, we need to find a little colored boy. I think it was from Oakley. Remember during the during COVID and all that stuff, he made that. I just want to live. God, protest. That is what goes through the heads of all these wide receivers for the Jags. They just want to live. And now it's worse. You got to make an acrobatic catch if you're not gonna get smacked. So now now the ground becomes a defender. Like BTJ on one of those, I thought he was gonna make the catch too. He had both. You got to worry about jumping up, get both feet in bounds, getting decapitated. Oh, and by the way, you have no idea how your body's gonna land on the ground. Now I guarantee we're gonna see back injury. Brian Thomas Jr., lower back.
Not to mention he's staring down the first read.
And your first read is always deep. Look at his eyes. It's not short. Like everybody else, low, mid, high. Ours is high, mid, low. So by the time after he's looking at the high read, that takes 3 seconds to develop. And then then Trevor's peeking that pass rush. So now he's rushing the throw.
And not for nothing, it looks like BTJ was dealing with a shoulder injury after during the fourth quarter. Might I add, he dealt with an apparent shoulder injury late in the fourth, was seen holding that same shoulder he had problems with before. So just wanted to add that out there as well for anybody who might have saw that play. So we actually have the chart for Travis Hunter right here, his route chart, courtesy of Next Gen Stats. So the white lines are his routes, green lines represent the YAC, and the blue line, the blue circle represents the touchdown. So Travis Hunter, like we said, had 8 receptions for 101 yards and 1 TD. I know he had a quote saying that he just told the coach, give him the ball, he's going to make plays happen. So, James, snap counts are one of Travis's most
That's what got him the Heisman.
Most used stats. So I just wanted to read you his snap count for this game. 67 snaps on offense. He had 8 receptions and 101 yards and 1 TD. And on defense, he had 14 snaps, and he had 1 pass defended. So you probably have seen the pass defended circulate online because he locked up Devontae Adams, got a pass defended against one of the best wide receivers that we've seen in this generation. So, James, should Travis be wide receiver 1? Because Jimmy Smith has been quote tweeting, and he did say that on his social media platform. Jimmy Smith did quote tweet saying Travis Hunter instead of BTJ should be the wide receiver 1.
I mean, listen, dog, whatever wins. There were some times too where I saw some clips where Travis Hunter was wide open. But again, I can say that, but where was it in the relation to the progression of Trevor Lawrence? Where was his eyes? It's not as cut and dry. It's not as simple as just target. I mean, hell, he had a ton of he had a ton of targets. He had 8 catches. Actually, let me see what ESPN tells us. Like, how many times was he targeted? He might have been basically that.
Travis was targeted 14 times.
That's a lot of fucking targets. That seems like if you're targeted 14 times, basically you were, and we got our asses whooped. Like, the score was 35-7, right? So OG, that was our OG Wildin segment. without us even knowing it. Matter of fact, I'm going to read you this. 14, 10, 7. 14 times was Travis, right? Do y'all know who do y'all think was targeted 10 times? Tell you who it wasn't. Brian Thomas Jr. Parker Washington was targeted 10 times for 4 catches. Hold on real quick. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 4. So 6 wasted targets on Travis. 6 wasted targets on Parker Washington, right? Brian Thomas had 3 catches for 31 yards. He was targeted 7 times. So when we're looking at your percentage of target, Brian Thomas was more consistent for you there. Hunter Long was probably your best. Probably should have given it to Travis Etienne more, but you did try to target him a little bit. But it just comes down to the fact that the guys who were running your deeper routes were the ones that they were trying to get it to. De'Ami Brown did have an egregious drop, but he was peaking too. He's a guy who's been in the infirmary because of Trevor. God. Like, man, we have got to, like, again, if everybody's dropping your passes, at a certain point, we have to ask ourselves, do you throw a catchable football?
I think that should be enough Jaguar talk for today. Yes, James, the Jaguars have been plagued with this drop phenomenon, if you will. Like you said, De'Ami Brown not exempt from that. Even Parker Washington had a pretty bad drop as well in this game. I know they did play in London. The weather in London, rainy, wet, everything you can imagine for bad catching weather. But it seems like the rain hasn't been a factor in the Jaguar season with our previous drop dilemmas as well, like you were mentioning.
Gingerverse puts, does he have a weird release or something? Like maybe he spins it weird. It's hard. He throws it 1,000,000 miles per hour. It's his release point is more than his release. He's tall as fuck. So like think about it like this. So shorter quarterbacks, the ball kind of goes up. Taller quarterbacks, because where it's at, it's almost coming down. So it's just a different way to catch it, but he doesn't know how to like aim very great. So a lot of times the ball is higher. So you need taller receivers. Like what he had at Clemson was a lot of tall receivers. And you have more space because of the hashes. So even the shorter guys, what was the white boy? Was it Hunter Renfro? Was the white boy that used to kill us at Florida State? So like you had guys who could they had more time to get open or more space to get open. But like now it's a little bit different. So like that's kind of where it comes down to. And it would take a lot to kind of change. I mean, I think he can change it, but I just think, right now, like he made statements like he didn't know he could use his eyes until this year. Like he made statements that I don't want to fucking hear a starting NFL quarterback make. God damn.
So we will keep you guys updated on this drop phenomenon with the Jaguars. So we're going to progress with the week 7 scores in the NFL. So James, it looks like the Eagles wide receivers are happy, but it always comes at a cost. So we're actually going to post these stats courtesy of Sports Center on the timeline for you. It's just loading right quick. Give it 1 second. All right, we got it right here. Thank you guys for holding on. So going to share this with you right here and then talk about this game. So the Eagles wide receivers in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. So Devontae Smith at 183 yards, and he had 1 touchdown with 9 receptions. And A.J. Brown is back. He had 2 touchdowns, 121 yards, and 4 receptions on the day. So Jalen Hurts went 19 of 23, and he threw for 326 yards and 3 touchdowns as well. It looks like, man, the Eagles did their thing on the offensive tip, but Saquon only had 18 carries for 44 yards in this game, James. It looks like the offensive player of the year from last year isn't getting the touches or getting the touchdowns and stats he's used to getting, but looks like the wide receivers for the Eagles have been enjoying their time, especially last game against the Vikings, and they improved to 5-2 on the season. So they finally got a dub when Jalen Hurts got a above average passing game. So, whew.
Good stuff. I mean, Jalen Hurts, again, I don't think anybody knocks him in being a good quarterback. I personally still don't believe he's the quarterback that will kill you. What he does, though, is he does a great job of making sure that the guys around him are making plays. And that's what you need from your quarterback. He is the best quarterback for that system. And they need him to play in a manner in which he's supposed to play. Bro, we had like 140 in the YouTube for a minute. And then everybody went back out to Twitter, I guess. Like the Twitter is amazing. Shout out to the 1,500 people watching us when we're waiting for firing news.
I know. I was like, damn.
I mean, go back over it again, Miles. What is it? What is the sport? Even the Sports Den Twitter has 110. That one never gets that many. Like, jeez, good stuff, man. I love it. Damn. Yeah. So, all right, we'll go. We got cut. We're gonna have the show's going long, so we got more NFL stuff that we got to talk about. But let's go ahead and get to the BS and busing and other stuff, so we can wrap it up and then have another long show on Wednesday.
All right, so we will continue on with our NFL subject on the next show, but we got to get through this big games BS section for today. You know, we like to start off with our BS or busting food review segment. So we got some Italian food for everybody out there. James is going to give this a BS ranking or a busting ranking. So you got some Italian American pizza stromboli for you guys right here. So let us know if you think this food item is BS or busting in the chat. I'm going to mute the video because there's some background music in it. So that's why there is going to be no sound coming from the video.
I hate how why can't we just cook shit? Why does it have to be sexy? I've never seen stromboli with that kind of cheese on it. Made that shit cheesy as fuck, though. Are you gonna vent it? You didn't. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. I was about to say, come on, dog, vent that bad boy. I love stromboli. I'm fucking with it. Stromboli ain't nothing but folded over pizza. So saying pizza stromboli is redundant. A calzone has ricotta in it. Strombolis don't have ricotta in it. So just always remember that. I also believe him putting tomato sauce. Normally, stromboli, you get the marinara sauce to dip it into, but I don't. I think he used too many different types of cheese. I think most of them just have mozzarella, and but I don't like ricotta's texture. I'm a much bigger fan of strombolis, though. I like strombolis.
Definitely looked like it was a good meal, and I think he added that tomato sauce for that pizza stromboli, I guess, to all tie it in. But looks like it was a little bit OD, but still seemed good nonetheless. So
And just make sure you have you take a good probiotic, get some fiber in your system. Because if you eat a whole stromboli, baby, it's gonna go through you. You're gonna be on that toiletta, the baño, after a while.
You're gonna be on something, that is for sure. So I know our favorite HBCU is FAMU. So we love to support the Rattlers. And this weekend was FAMU's homecoming weekend, one of the most highly recognized and most enjoyable homecoming weekends in the HBCU and in the college landscape. And they had a victory against Alcorn in their homecoming matchup. So FAMU beat Alcorn 33-28, even though Joe Bullard was not announcing the game, James. So the Rattlers improved to 1-1 in SWAC play, James. So we predicted that they were going to lose this game, but they ended up coming out on top for their homecoming matchup against Alcorn State. So shout out
People
to
was outside, boy. They was outside. They was outside for homecoming. It's crazy. Tallahassee gonna have 2 coaching searches at the end of the year, though. So, but I gotta ask my guy TJ Cole how it went. But yeah.
Shout out to FAMU for getting that dub against Alcorn in their homecoming, man. I know they had a crazy lineup this year for homecoming. I think they had Boosie, they had Lotto, G Herbo, Bossman D-Lo, Party Next Door. They had a lot of acts for
G Herbo, the one who made the song, was it Just Got Out or something like that? What's the new song that all the kids like?
I don't think that's the here. I think
But what's the name of the song he just
Went Legit?
It Went Legit. That's it. Yeah, okay. I like the beat to that.
Yeah, that's a good song. So yeah, they popped out. So FAMU definitely had their fair share of artists performing in homecoming, and glad to see that they got a dub against Alcorn. So shout out to them, man. Shout out to the Rattlers for getting that W. And on the season, the Rattlers are currently 2-4 with their wins coming from Alcorn State and Albany State. James, I know running back goes to that school, so that's their 2 wins over the season.
Albany State should have beat them. So
that game was 33-25, an 8-point spread in favor of the Rattlers. But the Rattlers are 2-4 and they're 4th in the SWAC East. So just want to give you guys an update on our favorite HBCU and Tallahassee's own FAMU. So James, that's all I have in the Big Games BS section for today. Is there anything you have to say to the fans out there? You know, we got a lot of people watching because I guess people want to know your opinion and your thoughts on the Mike Norvell situation. So any last words to say?
As the situation continues to progress, make sure you tune into Den Media Group or check out my page on Twitter. Anytime we go live, we'll have discussions. We'll do a State of the Florida State thing. I'll probably get some, seeing as this is a bye week, we'll probably get some alumni. We'll come on and we'll maybe do a round table. Talk about some stuff, share some good times, share some bad. We'll get those things going. For those who for the 1776, the year of independence, that are watching this currently, if you would please go over to Den Media Group's YouTube channel. If every one of you guys, that is, which most of y'all that are on the X, would just go over and smash the subscribe button, it would probably jump us past the 7,000 to the 8,000 mark, and we'll be able to give multiple giveaways. I ain't doing all that shit in one sitting, but we would do multiple giveaways over the next couple of times, and we will be able to, do different things. One of the cool things about speaking about sports and what I do with this channel, do a lot of different things in the community. The funds that are raised on this YouTube channel go toward the MFTK Foundation and our efforts to be able to help improve different communities and mentor young men and eventually women how to become better athletes, how to become better citizens, how to become better capitalists and businessmen and women. So through that, I appreciate everybody for tuning in and checking out with us, whether you agree with the opinions, whether you didn't agree with the opinions. We absolutely love the discourse and going back and forth. There were a lot of great points that were made in the comments. I absolutely 100% understand everybody's feelings toward their respective organizations, whether it be Florida State, whether it be Florida, whether it be the University of Miami. I grew up in the 90s in Tallahassee, Florida, when FAMU, Florida State, Florida, and Miami were all pretty damn good. I played against some of the best athletes in the world. That a lot went on to play many years in the NFL against the University of Miami and the University of Florida. I want what's best for programs, and I want what's best for the young men, and for all of us coming through. And I'm sure, and also from the business, I also want people to understand the emotional side is what makes sports and entertainment so fun. But I want listeners and everybody else to also always understand that there is a business side to all of this. And I think once we're able to merge the business side as well as the X's and O's and as well as the emotions of it, we will always find a product that we'll be happy to watch and happy to be involved with, because it will make you understand why things happen. Nothing truly happens in life within a vacuum. There's a cause there's a cause for everything. And I think once we kind of step back and we understand those things and you're able to fully explain them, you will not only be smarter, you'll be less hormonal when it comes to some of these decisions that are made. I appreciate the people who participated with the super chat. I appreciate everybody with the great questions. It was such a good, like, even over the next couple of times, I much prefer you comment on the YouTube, but even if you comment on the X and it's a very, very good question, we may be we may even incorporate that as well. Hold on. Just remember this. There are words that you're going to hear over the next couple weeks. Just remember this phrasing right here. We can put it on a shirt, just like I always told people. Discovery is a motherfucker. Remember, imminent, not immediate. Imminent, not immediate. So when you remember those things and you add those things to you, life will be okay. Enjoy your popcorn, get you a hot dog, drink a soda, watch the product on the field, whether it's putrid or not. Always support your brand, but understand that things are imminent. They're just not always immediate. Appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me. We'll see you guys next time.